Welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be a card pull. I haven't done this I like to do them once a week if I can, if I remember. So I'm just sitting at my kitchen table here. So I sit on the floor and yeah, I've got some cards out here. So we're gonna go ahead and pick cards, all right? So I'm gonna flip it around. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you guys can see that. So just taking a moment and just going with your instincts. What is it? Which one speaks to you? Maybe closing your eyes. Sometimes when you close your eyes, you can see a number. Maybe your hand wants to gravitate to one side or the other. All right. I'm just gonna prop you up here. Ooh. Sorry, guys. Okay. Kind of a weird angle, but that's okay. I'm supposed to get a camera really soon, so I am so excited to have like an actual camera to like film things on and take photos, and yeah, it's gonna be wonderful. But for now, we can make do with what we have. All right, so we have the first card. So the first card says, let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. So that's a card. There's these beautiful mandalas on all the cards. So let yourself silently be drawn to the pull of what you really love. So this kind of goes to what I talk a lot about, is going with your heart-based decision. So going into what it is that really lights you up, what really makes you happy, and working from that foundation, working from that place. We talked a little bit about this in the other video about being in transition and moving into manifesting with the new moon and being kind of stuck and not knowing and being kind of lost. And this just a reminder to go back to your heart center, go back to those things that fill you up, and trust that that is going to guide you the right way, that your heart is never going to bring you somewhere of discomfort, right? If we're listening to this kind of heart-based decision. It's when we're up here and we're in the ego and we're in the, that logical brain that we start to fall astray. We start to go with decisions that aren't meant for us. And yeah, we find ourselves in these positions where we're really unhappy, or I really don't love what I'm doing, or, I thought that this was, a great decision, but it didn't feel right, right? So this is connecting back to that feeling again, connecting back to what it is that really lights you up, what feels right. So maybe if you picked this card, maybe you're just kind of feeling a little bit like needing to reconnect, maybe you are in transition like we were talking about. Maybe you're in a place of like, I don't know where to go. So making those connections again, listening to your heart, listening to where it feels good in your body. So when people don't know, when they're like, I don't know if this is the right decision or a wrong decision, and I always tell them, what does it feel like in your body? Because your body will tell you. If you feel like something feels really right, you're going to feel light and you're going to feel airy, and there's going to be this expansiveness. If you're making a decision that is not the right decision and it's for the wrong reasons, you're going to feel a sense of this heavy or a tightening. Sometimes it can be in the chest, sometimes it can be in the throat, sometimes it can be in the belly. So yeah, listening to those signs, that's your body telling you where you're going, right? That's that natural intelligence. So yeah, connecting with that heart center, connecting it with what it is that feels right for you, feeling it in your body. If you're not quite sure, those sorts of activities like yoga, those things connect us back to how is it feeling in our body? What emotions are coming up to the surface, and making that connection again, so it makes this a little bit easier. All right, so there's that one. So this is the second one. All right, this one says, and remember, no matter where you go, there you are. I kind of like this one. This to me just speaks of, sometimes it's like we think that there's like right and wrong. Like, you know, if I do this, it's the wrong, right? Like, what do I do? And all this kind of stuff. And it's like, maybe that's not it at all, because we are exactly where we need to be. We're exactly where we need to be on our journey. We're exactly where we need to be in this life. And it's like there is no right and wrong. There's just different perspectives, right? There's different journeys to take. And sometimes we make this journey where we go around. And what makes that right or wrong, right? You know, maybe is it that you circled around again because you needed to learn something that you didn't learn the first time? So you needed to go around a couple of times. So yeah, no matter where you are, where you go, there you are. You know, you are where you are. You know, like you are where you are. And if you mindfully and presently live through this life, then even if you're in those places that you're like, this is super, you know, I don't know, this was the wrong decision or whatever, there's always lessons to be learned. There's always the good in there. So just like seeing the bigger picture, seeing that, you know what, maybe, you know, it's like this wasn't what I wanted, or this doesn't feel right, but then pull something good from it. So bringing that that suffering or that challenge and make it into something beautiful. All right. So that is that one, like that one. All right, great things are done by a series of small things brought together. I absolutely love this one. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my recovery. So this one speaks to me because when I was in the beginning stages of recovery, so if you've been in recovery or you have dealt with any of those sorts of things, you know how painfully slow it can feel. And I remember feeling like I wasn't moving anywhere, like I'm just not getting anywhere. And I think what I did do is I just did good. I didn't say good. I did little things every day. All those little things added up into big things. So for me, I went from like chronic pain. When I was at my sickest, I was barely able to move. And when I got onto my mat, was a perfect example, because I went from being able to do things to losing all my muscle, losing a bunch of weight, and not being able to do anything. And it was painful. I was in so much pain. But I got on my mat every day, and if I got 5 minutes in, I was proud. You know, and I held on to those little things. I held on to the sunny days. I held on to the smell of fresh air. I held on to, you know, the flowers starting to bloom in the spring. I held on to all of these little things, and then they began to become big things. All of a sudden, my days were brighter, my days were lighter, and I was getting stronger, and I was able to move farther, and I was making progress. So yeah, like great things are done by a series of small things put together. So this could be something as far as like out there, like, you know, always being compassionate to the people around you. And yeah, like doing those little things, like having those little conversations with strangers can make their day. Taking 2 seconds to step out of your experience and just be there for someone can seriously shift people. But it can also speak to our own journey of like, how can we do these little things that we put together to make something bigger? So it could be that you're working through, you know, your healing journey, and you are needing to hold on to those little things. So reconnecting with those little things and recognizing that they will build into something really beautiful, and just to give it time and trust the journey and trust that that is what's going to happen, and just holding on to that, right? So this card is either or. So yeah, if it's something personal and this speaks to you on a personal level, maybe it's time to really like just hold on to those little things and recognize them, write them down. Like that always helps too, right? And just reminding yourself like, today was a good day, you know, like I'm making progress, and it's little, but it's going to be bigger, and it's going to make progress. But yeah, also, like I said, this speaks to, you know, stepping outside of ourselves and the great things that we do for other people. They don't have to be huge. You know, we don't have to, put millions of dollars into, foundations and stuff like that. We can do these little things. It's living by example. It's showing love and compassion for the people around you, and it just changes, it shifts everything. But remembering we got to do that for ourselves first. I talked a little bit about that in class today, is doing that for ourselves. We need to be able to be compassionate and loving to ourselves first. And then we can just emanate that out. We can reflect that outward to the world around us. All right, so yeah, so I hope that that gives you some clarity or support in some way. Yeah, it's always a pleasure doing these card pulls for you. I will see you guys in the next video really, really soon. All right.